the new update coming in where Russian President Vladimir Putin has said that Russia has tested a new intermediate range missile in a strike on Ukraine on Thursday and warned that Moscow could use it against countries that have allowed Kiev to use their missiles to strike Russia. Putin says in a nationwide TV address that the Russian strike on Ukraine on Thursday comes in response to Ukrainian strikes on the Russian territory with US and British missiles earlier this week. The Russian leader declared that Russia would issue advance warnings before strikes on other countries to allow civilians to evacuate to safety. He warned that US air defense systems wouldn't be capable of intercepting Russian missiles. Okay, so this is a big update coming in right now on Republic TV, where we are learning that there has been escalation, remember, between Russia and Ukraine, and we have got you all those updates here on Republic TV. And we also are being joined by a guest right now. Let's go across to our guest who's joining us live. We're getting some more reactions. Let's go and play those reactions coming in first, and then we'll go to our guest.
Применение американского и британского дальнобойного оружия 21 ноября текущего года российские вооруженные силы нанесли комбинированный удар по одному из объектов оборонно-промышленного комплекса Украины. Разработка ракет средней и меньшей дальности осуществляется нами в качестве ответной меры на планы США по производству и развертыванию ракет средней и меньшей дальности в Европе и Азиатско-Тихоокеанском регионе. Полагаем, что США совершили ошибку, разрушив в одностороннем порядке в 2019 году под надуманным предлогом договор о ликвидации ракет средней и меньшей дальности. Разработка ракет...
Okay, we have to move ahead right now. I'm getting some more updates coming in right now where a statement has come out from the Deputy Clerk of the Privy Council and National Security Intelligence Advisor to the Prime Minister. On October 14, because of a significant ongoing threat to public safety, the RCMP and officials took the extraordinary step of making public acquisitions of serious criminal activity in Canada perpetrated by agents of the Government of India. The Government of Canada has now stated that nor is it aware of evidence linking PM Modi, Minister Jaishankar or NSA Doval to the serious criminal activity within Canada. And we have a guest joining us, Daniel Boardman, senior journalist live from Toronto, Canada. Thank you for joining us, Mr. Boardman, from Toronto. And, you know, one thing we have seen is that just one day back, the MEA had rubbished the reports which had gone ahead and linked PM Modi, Jaishankar and others to the Nijjar murder plot. And now we see that Canada has itself put out a statement saying that there has been no connection whatsoever between dignitaries like PM Modi and others to Canada's internal matters. Your first reaction?
Yeah, this is in response to a story put out in the Globe and Mail that had linked Modi, Jaishankar, and the other two, potentially the Nijjar case. And this is the Canadian government coming out and saying that it full out doesn't have this information. So there's a lot of different ways this can be interpreted, and we'll see more clearly. But you could say, okay, this is the Canadian government realizing that there's misinformation out of there, not wanting to escalate things and saying, no, we actually don't have any information on Modi and Jaishankar. It could be that. You could have the fact that, like, maybe this was the most cynical interpretation is maybe they wanted to discredit the Globe and Mail, because the Globe and Mail is the outlet that reported on the foreign interference within the Liberal Party when it came to the CCP and the Chinese, which is the real foreign interference. So by mixing some bad information to the Globe and Mail, having a story come out that goes too far, then walking it back, they can look more reasonable and make the Globe and Mail look bad and say, listen, they're not very accurate when they report on foreign interference. So all these potential foreign assets within Parliament, the 11 sitting MPs in the report, this is just misinformation, disinformation. It could be, it could be a lot of things, right? This could be like maybe people in the media legitimately getting it wrong because there's so much Khalistani infiltration and you have characters like Panoon and seeks for justice, claiming that they're giving advice to the prime minister. We know they've worked with Jagmeet Singh in the past. We know Ponan's worked with members of the Conservative Party as well. So maybe it is just some of the more conspiratorial Khalistani lunatics who have been, I guess, advising our intelligence agencies in some respect, or the government in some way. Their crazy stories might have been cataloged by the intelligence agencies. Well, they might not be serious evidence. That might have then leaked to the press, and then they treat that as evidence, and this is like the system cleaning up. It's all a big mess, but that's Canadian foreign policy for the last 9 years. So to bring it back, does this look good on Canada? No. But it is a positive step in things were spiraling out of control, and it is signs that the Canadian government does feel that it does need to pull this fight back in some way, that it's not going to go to the end. We're not going to accuse Narendra Modi and the foreign minister of being involved in all these different conspiracies and then totally ruin relationships with India. So some semblance of sanity prevailed within the Canadian foreign policy establishment, so this will be commemorated as a holiday for now until eternity.
Yes, and Mr. Boardman, let's not forget that what we have seen in the past 1 month now, we have seen so much of escalation between India and Canada, diplomatic row. Now, Trudeau has condemned actions of India, these allegations, and called for respect for Canada's sovereignty. India has rejected these allegations time and again, labeling them as baseless. And in fact, we have come to know that, Canada has not even provided any solid proof to India on the allegations that have been made. On the other hand, we've seen a lot of Khalistani extremism being supported by Justin Trudeau. Do you really think that anytime we will see a de-escalation of what we have seen has erupted as a row between India and Canada? Do you think some diplomatic ties can be restored again soon?
The de-escalation would come after an election. Trudeau's dead set on these ways. Is he ever going to drop this quest? Probably not. But him and Jagmeet Singh, they kind of have power. The fact that Trump's now in power in the United States and probably not going to go along with this means we're probably going to have to deal with another month of this nonsense, kind of, until Trump gets back in, and then there'll be a shift in geopolitics globally, and we'll see what the Liberals do. I think if they're going to fight silly battles, I do think Trudeau's instinct would be to fight silly battles with America. And listen, India doesn't even understand. It's hard to understand Trudeau's idea, because you're saying Trudeau's saying that India doesn't respect Canada's sovereignty. Well, Trudeau doesn't respect Canada's sovereignty. So what are we even talking about? Who's respecting Canadian sovereignty here, right? Who's defending our sovereignty? It's not this Liberal government. Are they going to secure the border? Are they going to deport illegal immigrants who shouldn't here? So who's in favor of Canadian sovereignty in this point? It seems like no one. So until Canada gets some sort of viable Canada's foreign interests aren't even in the interest of Canadians. It's so messed up. So of course no one can deal with us, and our relationships are degrading, because there's no way to even benefit and reason with Canada when our prime minister is just dreaming of the day where he can jet set around the United Nations like Greta Thunberg and lecture the world on diversity and climate change forever. And it's not an effective way to run a country. So this is what it is. It's going to be this. You probably won't have to suffer him coming physically to your country again, dressing up and dancing around. So count your blessings there. But for the next however amount of Trudeau, it's going to be Trudeau with a side of Jagmeet. And that's just the way it is. And this will continue until they are out of power.
All right. Thank you for joining us there, Mr. Daniel Boardman, a senior journalist live from Toronto, Canada. Take our viewers through a fresh perspective on the escalating situation between India and Canada and the latest statement from Canada.